Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Janos Euros X32, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. We are back with the Bottom Dollar Bounties season of Will It Off-Road, where we will be testing nearly every single vehicle that came out with this DLC. Maybe not the drift cars. That didn't go so well last time. But we have a quad view today, and we'll talk more about this view in just a second. But in the top left, we have Commander Hobo. Top right, we have Sparing Donkey. Bottom left, we have British Brendan, aka Raven. And in the bottom right is me. So yeah, a little bit dark here at the start. This is at dawn though, so things will brighten up as we climb the mountain. In fact, as soon as we get up out of these trees, it'll be fine. So at the outset, I would like to invite you to join the Vainglorious Discord server. We have a ton of people who play a ton of different games on a ton of different platforms. And we would love to have you with us. And of course, if you're part of the Vainglorious Discord server, you can take part in all of our community videos, including Will It Off-Road, and our community live streams. And I think it would be great to have you along with us. And of course, even if you can't take part or join in, you can still kind of feel like you were there by watching the behind-the-scenes version of the community videos that are available to channel supporters only. There is more information on how you can get that ad-free, less edited video in the description down below, so be sure to check that out. Yeah, that's right, I'm not spending 5 minutes talking about all that stuff anymore. We're done with it. I'm going to talk about the cars more. The only other thing that I want to mention is anytime we have this quad split, I will post a link in the description, so there's one in this video's description, to just a full screen view of just my view. I know some people may prefer that older style instead of the quad split screen, and that's fine. We will make that available, but not as a public video. It'll be unlisted and only linked in the videos. I may eventually throw them in the playlist, but it's not often that we get 4 people that can record and upload all in the time that I need. So it'll be a rarity, but it's a thing. I want to make sure we spend more time talking about the cars though, which is why I kind of cut down all the other stuff. Took me a minute to explain why we're doing it, but hey, we're here. So the Euros is a car clearly 3 out of 4 Vainglorious community members love. My Donkey has one. I'm pretty sure. I just think his wasn't upgraded yet. Not sure why Hobo's. I guess a bush got him, but he just kind of stopped there. So I thought this was at dawn. I guess not. I guess this was at night. Okay, I was wrong. I could have sworn we did this one at dawn. Maybe we started late in the afternoon, but I did adjust the exposure just a little bit. It doesn't look as washed out as doing just the brightness as I've done in the past. But this thing is up. We're at the top of the mountain. 2 minutes, 49, 50, 51 seconds. It took a minute to get stopped there. I think we'll call it 49. So will it off-road? Ding, yes. Yeah, we kind of overshot it there. I think we should adjust that to like a 249 because we got knocked off. But, you know, we're going to go with the stats of the 251.18 for now. So where does that put it in terms of the standings? It is out of 429 vehicles that we've tested as of this video. It is 151st. I am curious if we bump those 2 seconds off, though, what that would do to it. And that would actually... Wow, that would bring it up into like 132, 133. Somewhere in there. There's a bunch of 249s, so it would be somewhere in there. I may revise that, but for our stats purposes, we'll talk about these numbers because it's what I wrote down. It is 0.08 seconds slower than the Panther, 0.67 seconds faster than the Ocelot Penetrator. In terms of coupes, and I don't think this changes at all, if it's... I've got my spreadsheet open over here, so I will check. No, it wouldn't change positions at all in coupes. It is 3 out of 10 that we have tested. 7.18 seconds slower than the Previon, and 3.13 seconds faster than the Felon. That's the regular Felon, not the Felon GT, which is the 2-door convertible. The Felon is the 4-door, which should probably not be in coupe since it's a 4-door, but let's not talk about classes in GTA. In terms of Bottom Dollar Bounties, well, the DLC just came out, but this is second. We'll see the first place car in just a little bit. I did make mention of a spreadsheet a moment ago. There is that linked in the description down below as well. If you want to check out all 429 vehicles, it's broken down 1 through 429. Then it's broken down by class. Plus, when we do the snow, there's a special tab for snow. And then there's a tab for each DLC. So you can see how all the different cars stacked up. Yeah, the Euros. It's a fantastic little car. One of the first ones, however, to get claimed by the Tree of Many Crashes. It took out our back window back there on the little side back window. I like the car. I think it sounds nice. You know, for a GTA 5 car, I think it has a good engine sound. A nice growl. It drives nice. I have no complaints about the car. We raced it recently, and it even did well in racing. And we're down for our controlled descent to 28. So of course we have to watch everybody get their jumps in, and we've got some stragglers here. So we'll let them catch up. There's Raven, who might have gotten a little overzealous there. Yep, he is definitely on the beach. And then, of course, Donkey coming up behind. Looks like Donkey's PC might be struggling to record a little bit because his footage gets a little laggy up there in that top right-hand corner every once in a while. But we are at the top of the mountain where we fling the vehicles off the side of the ramp, traffic jam, just to see, you know, what type of damage they sustain if they go boom, all that fun stuff. Plus, it's just kind of fun to throw the cars off the mountain. It just is. It's a little melee free-for-all that we get to take part in after all the nonsense of recording that we have to go through. And you guys, you know, you just see the action shots. There's a lot of downtime in Woodwood Off-Road that where I'm lining up shots, where we're getting things synchronized, where we're waiting on daylight or rain to end. It's a thing, but it's a fun thing, and we have a good time with it. And this car was just, I mean, the thing about this DLC is all the cars that are out so far are just pleasant. You know, there's, unless you talk about HSW, which we don't have here on PC, so whatever. But everything is just a nice, pleasant drive. There's nothing that really upsets any one class. You know, there's some nice competitive things in like A and B tiers, and maybe even some C tier cars. Just good all around vehicles that, like I said earlier, they're nice to drive. They're nice to own. They're nice to drive. They may all be a little overpriced, and by a little overpriced, I mean, well, Rockstar is out of control with their pricing. I can't. I'm scared to think what will happen in GTA 6. Oh my gosh, I'm going to count that as clearing the wood pile, though I did land a little bit backwards. We're down 141.02 as Hobo takes out the fence. Let's take a look at the damage. Most of the windows are gone. The headlights and most of the rear lights are missing. The front bumper's gone, along with the left fender and the left door. The rear bumper, if you saw when we were coming down the hill, was barely hanging on. And we have bent wheels. Of course, we'll go take a look at our support vehicles from our front shot. And then we will spin around and get the back shot as well. And that's going to bring us to our next vehicle. The Ubermacht Niobe. And oh my goodness, do I love this little car. Nice hybrid. So you get a little bit of electric boost, but you also have the gas engine. It makes a nice sound. The doors go up. You know, not butterflies. Is that butterfly style? I forget what that's called when they go up. This is the way they do. And it even makes a nice little ding when you get in it. It plays a little chime. What is not to absolutely love about this thing? And it's nice that we finally got a proper representation of the GTA lore-friendly BMW i8. And don't get me wrong, I love the SC1, but I maintained it was never meant to be the i8. It was always meant to parrot some of BMW's concept vehicles, not the i8 itself, but, you know, people disagreed. The thing about this, and of course I haven't really driven it much, before I recorded this. Matter of fact, the video that I recorded of, hey, here's all the new cars on the day the DLC came out, that's it. That's the only time I had driven it. So I wasn't quite prepared for how this thing accelerates and what it does with the bushes. I wish I would have had a little bit more time to have an opportunity to drive this, because I think I could have gotten an even better time than we do. Don't get me wrong, it gets a great time. And of course, it does have all-wheel drive, and those front wheels have a lot of grip, to the point that if you're not pointed straight when you get back on the power, if you're not pointed the direction you're going to go, you're not going to get any of that friction to go into really adjusting the trajectory of your vehicle. Instead, it's just going to pull you forward in the direction you're facing. And you can see the understeer comes into play several times as I'm going up the mountain, because I wasn't ready for it, just because I hadn't spent enough time in the car. I really think I probably could have gotten about 5 seconds maybe knocked off the time on this. In the end, that 5 seconds could have made a big difference, because the very top of the spreadsheet is very, very stacked. You can see this thing absolutely flew right up the mountain. And we're making our final little climb, and we are up 2 minutes, 22 seconds. So, will it off-road? Yeah. And again, if I would have just been prepared for those areas where it just pulls, I really do think I could have gotten a slightly better time. However, out of the 429 vehicles that we have tested, it is 8th. It is 0.37 seconds slower than the Nemesis, as my voice cracks, and 0.35 seconds faster than a Vagrant. In our sports class, where we have tested 81 vehicles, it is 3rd. Coming in 2.12 seconds slower than the La Cruz, and 0.92 seconds faster than the Izzy Sport. And I want to pause there for a moment. Back when the Izzy Sport came out, it became the #1 vehicle. And now it's 10th. Well, 9th, technically, because we don't really count what's in first, which is a helicopter. Don't ask. Yeah, so this is faster than what was previously a #1 vehicle, so wow. In terms of Bottom Dollar Bounties, of course, it is first. It is 29.22 seconds faster than the Euros X32 that we just took a look at. Of course, it was getting dark. We recorded 4 cars in one day, and normally I am very strict about it has to be perfectly daylight when we record. But I also, you know, we were on 3.5 hours recording cars, and I didn't want to keep people like another half hour, 45 minutes on their Sunday afternoon. So I made some sacrifices, and instead I'm doing some things here in Premiere to just kind of lighten things up through exposure and a little bit of color correction. Looks better than what I've done in previous seasons, where I just bumped up the brightness and everything just looked washed out and fuzzy. But I think this looks better. The colors are a little more accurate. It's hard to get them perfect since I'm bumping up the exposure. You gotta lighten up everything in order to be able to see when it's dark. But I think it definitely looks better. Oh, some two-wheel action. That's good. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened to Hobo and why he was flying down the mountain there. By the way, we lost Donkey's footage. I think his hard drive on his laptop was full, or maybe his laptop just, you know, didn't want to anymore. But we are down 2 minutes, almost 17 seconds. So we're going to go speed up the footage actually for a second, because there is a little bit behind. Now we're going to get some jumps. Nice flat spin from Raven. Hobo cooked it, and it's his turn to go have a nice sunset cookout on the beach in his Karen mobile. Hobo was in his adventure for this and really wanted to time it so he would drop from midair, and it put him on the trail instead. Normally it just drops him just on there, but I think he was a little too close to the trail. And so the Avenger's like, nope, you're going over there. I'm going to safely, gently put you down and tuck you in and then kiss you on the forehead. But then Hobo drove off the side of the mountain anyway. So here we all are. It's still the same group. By the way, we also had 9-Credit Rocket with us during this World Off-Road, but he doesn't record. His computer can probably barely play the game. I feel bad for Donkeys because his always seems like it's struggling. And from the footage I see, I don't know if it actually struggles like that for him or if that's just the footage we're getting because it's not able to keep up. I don't know. We'll see if we can't get Donkey's footage to look a little better for future videos. If not, maybe we don't ask Donkey to record anymore. Love the kid. He's like a full-grown adult now getting his pilot's license, but he was a kid when he first joined Vainglorious, so he'll always be a kid and make me feel old. But yeah, I don't want to push his laptop any harder than we really have to. I'd rather he just have a good time hanging out, playing the game with us, instead of having to worry about recording and suffering performance. But look at this. Legitimately over the woodpile this time. Even if I did land backwards and hit a Prius, I don't care. We're down 1 minute 20 seconds. We'll wait for Raven to do a jump because he basically climbed a tree. And so I left that in. So yeah, Rockstar, where's our damage model? We have one window. One window after all that. The headlights are busted and the doors and hood won't close. That's it. No bent wheels, no deformed body panels. Anyway, there's our support vehicles from the front. And, of course, from the back, next week we'll be back with the Coquette D1 and the Dorado Cruiser. I want to thank you very much for tuning in to Will It Off-Road today. I know there are thousands of things that you could have watched instead, and you chose my silly little off-road video, and I sincerely appreciate that. Until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.